Comments or questions from the board? Go ahead, Matt.
So, and I'm just going to be blunt when I say this. When you read through everything, I heard a lot of benefits for the county, but I did not hear a lot of benefits for the city of Largo. You're talking about a 50-year building, which currently we get $34,710 in property tax for. So if you take that for 50 years, the city's losing $1.7 million in property tax revenue, which would be more. That's a very conservative number. I think we can all agree. So, and the benefits that were cited were any benefits we would get from, and I know we have another item, but I'm not going to speak to that yet. Right now, we're dealing with a commercial property, and it'd be a conditional use under our current code. The benefits we're getting are we would get from any standard conditional use for any developer asking to build at that location. So I don't see why the city of Largo would be giving up $1.7 million in property tax revenue when we're not getting a benefit that exceeds what a standard development that would be commercial, mixed use on a high traffic corridor that could have housing and generate millions of dollars in property tax revenue. So I'm trying to balance those, so if you can help me.
Well, couple things. One, we are doing an economic impact analysis, and I think that's going to show you that it drives traffic, it adds place, and so you'll see activities, and we have an opportunity in that center, and the ICOT center's struggled, and so the idea is to work together to see about how to invigorate the ICOT center. So I think that's the real value. Plus, it benefits all of our citizens. We are your government, these are our citizens just like yours, and so we need to have our services somewhere, and this has an opportunity to provide improved customer service for our residents. But I do think there's opportunities for partnerships, and that's what the city manager and I were talking about. Those need to be fleshed out. I think we need to elevate those from staff level to his and I's level, and really try to determine how we can work together. This is going to be our home. We want to be a good partner. This is going to be 300,000 square feet. We own 4 million square feet around the county, so we got buildings all over the place. But this is our hub. This is going to be our new government center, and there's value in that, and I think that that helps with identity, and I think that can help with other economic development opportunities. As we look at the site, and you saw the kind of the early planning, we're going to do a kind of a charrette with the county commission. We haven't done that yet. That's going to be later this summer to talk about. Okay, one of the things we did early on, we found some sites that were a lot cheaper, but you had to go up to 128th, and you had to go in, and they were tucked back in there, and I'm like, for somebody that comes to the county government building, 3 times in their lifetime, are they ever going to find it? It didn't seem like that's where your government center should be. So, we took the opportunity to find that site, but the question is, what goes around it? Do we want to use all the site? Do we want to spin off portions for other uses? We haven't even got to that point yet. So I think that, we need to work together to make sure that it is a benefit for everyone. It's a benefit for the center, for the ICOT Center. It's a benefit for Largo and for the county. If, for instance, and we've talked about this, we're not going to do this on the cheap. You saw open spaces and things like that. Does it make sense to put a light? If it doesn't make sense to put a light, and we have to use the light up there, well, then we need to improve the circulation, within the center. And so there's things like that would be, we're committed to making sure that we do this right and work together with you on those type of opportunities.
Okay, and just one other question. So I know you said you wanted Largo to be your home. So recently the county passed an expanded seat of its county seat map, which expanded the county seat of the city, and technically Clearwater is our county seat, to include boundaries within Largo, including this new county administrative site. Mm-hmm. So is there going to be a push? I understand there's state legislation that prevents you from doing this on your own.
Well,
But-
it's really a simple question of the ease of making things happen.
Yeah.
Moving the county boundary requires an act of the county commission. Moving the county seat requires an act of our voters, and it has to go to referendum. And trying to convince 900,000 people and explain that is kind of a tall task. So this was the easiest path. I think from, the outcome's still the same. So that's the path that we chose.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I want to make sure that we're doing things that enhance the whole area and not, hurts and what we're trying to accomplish.
And I was going to just say, and I think honing in more on the park ones, the designs that focus on the parks and the active transportation and the trails.
Yeah.
Because we are seriously lacking in parks in East Largo. So that is a critical benefit too. So that is something I recognize. And if we can focus on that, that would be a crucial benefit that we'd be adding to the city, that the city desperately needs.
Yeah, and that was something that when we were looking at the site and we were looking at what the assets were around it, parks was something that did not exist
Yeah.
in a 15 to 20 minute radius at all. And I think that goes back to what you were saying about wanting that kind of, and demographically as well. What we looked at was that people in Pinellas County like to be outdoors. They like to have physical fitness and often outdoors. They like sports. This is a big part of the community here. So to play into that is part of one of the scenarios. Really wanted to highlight it. And I think maybe whether it's like a fitness center that is official or if it's just outdoor space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if
With them to try to find an alternative location. So,
you have the old wagon wheel,
yeah,
still,
I think that's where they moved from, isn't it?
And I do want to give county staff credit. I usually go out at least every couple of weeks, and pretty much all the vendors know this is happening. This isn't a surprise to them. They have been kept in the loop. So I do really appreciate county staff making sure that they know what's going on and that they've been kept in the loop.
We had to
So-
separate our risk. Our risk group wanted them out like, when we close on the property, okay? And we had to find some common ground, but we have tried to work with them. It's a huge community asset,
Yeah.
and we don't want to lose them. We want to work with them, but, but we have to make that transition, but yeah.
And then my last question, is there any idea when the economic assessment might be done? Because not only, I would imagine people might be might want to move closer to this facility if they're working as well. So I know there's going to be cross-pollination of benefits, so.
We actually just received a draft review, but we've not qualified it yet.
Gotcha. Largo's the central hub, and I love that we're the central hub, but on 4 properties alone, between the tax collector, the supervisor of elections, the sheriffs, the school board, that's 107 million, almost $108 million worth of property value that's in Largo. And by giving government a kind of blank check to open in these industrial limited areas, we have no way of stopping that if we decide, no, we do not want this property to become non-taxable government property. And that's what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about any specific project. I'm worried about the future precedent we might be sending for when, say, another county building, the health department wants to redo something or something of that nature or something. I'm worried of that kind of, we're setting up this precedent where any commercial building could build in an industrial, or government building could build in an industrial limited, where we traditionally would have conditional use, where we would, and the commission would have some say and control over that. I support every part of the professional, commercial, the government part itself
Yeah.
is what's worrying me, because that instantly, once they take ownership of the building, we lose that as a taxable asset. And with the economy, with inflation, the county went through its budget workshops right now. They know how tight things are. And all of us wouldn't be doing our jobs here if we're not responsible and looking after the taxpayers of Largo. So that's all I have on that, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.